Hi ladies, in this video I'm going to show you how to work the double crochet. We did the single crochet and the half double crochet over the past few weeks, and the double crochet is one of the most popular stitches I've seen. So if you're reading your own patterns, you'll definitely see this come up. It's really fun, it's easy, and it might not seem that way at first, but trust me, you'll get there. And it's one of the most popular I've seen in most patterns. So it's definitely one that you want to learn. I'm also going to show you how to work and read this pattern that is listed in the 63 easy to crochet pattern stitches combined to make an heirloom Afghan. It's pattern number 3 in that book. And basically this pattern is just double crochet in every single stitch across. So it is very perfect for learning the double crochet. So we'll follow the pattern along and I'll show you how to do a double crochet as we work it. It says, with ecru, chain 27 loosely. CH stands for chain. Ecru, this is the color of the yarn. You can use whatever color you want. But if you were following this book exactly, including the colors, you would want to use ecru. So you start out with 27 chains, and you're going to chain them loosely. This is so that you can end up with approximately 7 inches in square. So you'll make 27 chains long. And then as you keep going and doing each row, you'll stop when you get to about 7 inches, so that you end up with a 7 by 7 inch square basically. And at the end you'll sew all of them together to have an heirloom Afghan. For demonstration purposes, I am only going to chain 8, just for the length of the video, and you'll be able to see how the stitches go, and you'll easily be able to expand that to whatever number you need. You can use this pattern not only for this heirloom Afghan, but you can use it for any type of flat work. If you want to make a placemat, a dish towel, pot holders, rugs, scarves, whatever is flat, whatever is square will be good for this type of pattern. So you can make any of those that you want. Alright, if you do not remember the slip knot, or the chains, go back and review those videos. I sent those to you a few weeks ago, and I've already done mine. And so that's where we're going to start, is with row 1. So row 1 is the right side. The right side is the most attractive side, and we're going to, it says DC, that stands for double crochet. So double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then each chain across, and we'll end up with 25 stitches. So you may be thinking, okay, if we start with 27 chains and we start in the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll have 3 chains that are not worked. 27 minus 3 is not 25. So you might at first think that that is a typo, but this is a little bit different than the patterns we've seen in the past, and the fact that it counts this chain as a stitch. So this actually counts as your first double crochet, and when you get to row 2 you see that it actually says it counts as the first double crochet. Now if you're reading a pattern and it doesn't say that the chains count as the first double crochet, then it doesn't count. It's just the chain. It's just like what all the other ones we've worked before. You ignore what you've done for the height, and you only work into the individual stitches. But in this pattern, they want us to count those chains as a stitch, and I'll show you why as we start to work the pattern. Alright, so in the 4th chain from the hook, I'm going to work a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th one here. To do a double crochet, it starts out just like a half double. I'm going to yarn over first, insert my hook into the 4th chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through that chain. You have 3 loops on the hook, just like with the half double. But if you remember, with the half double you pull through all 3. With the double, you're only going to yarn over and pull through 2. So yarn over, pull through 2, and you have 2 left. You're going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And so that is double crochet, and you can see it is taller, and as we get going it'll be about the same size. That's why we skipped the first 3 chains. Alright, and I'm going to do my next double into this chain here. Yarn over, insert my hook into that chain, or a yarn over, pull through that chain, I'll have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through only the first 2, yarn over and pull through 2 again. Okay. I'm wondering how many I actually started out with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops again. Okay, and then one more time, this is my last one. I yarn over, insert my hook into the last chain, yarn over, pull through that chain, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. I have 2 loops on the hook because of that yarn over, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again. Alright, and so if you had chained 27 and done a double crochet in each one across, starting at the 4th chain from the hook, you would have 24 double crochets that you worked, and then that set of chains would count as 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have 3. I think I have too many chains on the side. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, I think I did 5th chain from the hook. That's my first. 1, 2, 3, and then I go here. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sorry guys, I miscounted the original chain, so let me do that over again real quick. That's why it's always important to check your count. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have my set of chains account. So I have 6 when I started with 8, so that's right. And if you started with 27, you should have 25 if you count the set of chains as 1. Alright, it says note to loop a short piece of yarn around any stitch to mark the last row as the right side. So you can take any contrasting piece of yarn and just insert it up under any of these stitches to mark that as the right side, or you can use a stitch marker just to loop that up under any of these stitches and mark that as the right side. And a lot of patterns that will matter because they depending on which row and what kind of pattern you're doing, it can get kind of complicated on some of them, and so you would definitely want to mark those. In this particular pattern, we're doing the same thing on every single row across, so both sides are going to look pretty much the same. So for the double crochet square, if you want to mark it, feel free, but if you don't have anything to mark it with, don't worry, they're going to look the same on both sides. Row 2, we're going to start with our chain 3, and that counts as our first double crochet, and that's very important. So you remember in all the other patterns that I've shown you, when I've done single crochets and half double crochets, we always said that those initial chains don't count as a stitch. So when you're going across, you want to make sure you don't double crochet into those. In this case, it does matter, and here's why. Because the double crochet is taller, if you were to do it like we were doing it before and just double crochet in each one across and didn't count those chains, you can see how it has kind of like a little wave effect on the side. So this one comes out this way, this one comes out this way, you know, and so forth. And so if you want a little wave, that's great. Feel free to continue doing it in that method. That would be fine for a blanket or a scarf. But if you're trying to get something that is square, that's why the author wrote this as the chains counting as the first double crochet. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and because that counts as my first double crochet, I am not going to go in to this first double crochet chain right here, because this chain counts as my first double crochet, so it's as if I'd already worked it. And that's important. If you go into this stitch, you'll end up making increases on each row, and it won't be square. Or you'll leave off the last row, and that's where you have that wave look, like I showed you a moment ago with the purple yarn. So we're going to leave that off in this pattern, because this one already counts as the first stitch. And so we'll be going and doing a double crochet into this one instead, which on all the other ones I've shown you is the second double crochet from our previous row. Okay. So chain 3, that counts as the first double crochet in turn, so I've already done that. Double crochet in the next double crochet stitch. So we've already done the first. We're going to double crochet into the next one. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that second double crochet, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, this is my third one. Yarn over, insert the hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through those last 2. Okay, here's my next one. I yarn over, insert my hook into the next double crochet, yarn over, pull through the stitch. I have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those last 2 loops. That's my third worked double crochet. I have on the previous row, this is the one that the very first one I worked. This is my set of chains. This counts as a double crochet, so we're going to work into both of those. Okay, so I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the next double crochet, yarn over, pull through the stitch. I have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, and so this one's a little bit different because you're not going to have that those 2 loops to go under, because this is not actual double crochet. This is just 3 chains. So you can just find a spot to work into the top of that double crochet as if it was a double crochet. Yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And hopefully I should have the same number that I started with, which would be 6 for me. If you did 27, it should be 25 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my chain counts, so that's 6. And so you can see that this is starting to look a little bit more squared off than the other one is. I'm going to do one more row just so you can see them side by side and compare. We're going to be repeating row 2. So it's the same thing every single time. I'm going to chain 3, which counts as my first double crochet, turn, and then double crochet, and the next double crochet, and then in each double crochet across. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as my first double crochet. So where I would do in most patterns, I would start out by going here. Since this counts as my first one, we've already worked it, and we're going to start by going into this stitch. Yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through those last 2. Again, yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch. You have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. when you're pulling through, that creates a new loop. So now we still have 2 left. Yarn over, pull through 2, and now we're on 1. Alright, and we're back at the end, so that I have 1 double crochet that I worked in my set of chains. But since this counts as a double crochet, I'm going to work in here and work in here. Pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then I have 1 more double crochet to work into the set of chains here. Okay, so if you'd like to see them side by side so you can see what the difference is, let's straighten out a little bit. Okay, and here's what the other looks like. Now I've done 4 rows here. So on the teal I've done, or teal or blue, I've done 3 rows. On the purple I've done 4, but you can still see the difference in the edges. So on the purple, when we did not count the chains as a stitch, you get this wave on the edge, and when we did count it as a stitch, it is more squared off. So that's the difference in those two, and that's why this pattern had us work it this way. Because this is supposed to be a square, and it's going to be a lot easier to sew into other squares if it looks more squared off. Alright, and so that's it for double crochet. I hope to see you guys at the next meeting.